8 o'clock. Moderation, helpful. Everyone feels safe. Closed. All right. So we are live on YouTube. I do not know what is even going to happen with live on YouTube because I've got a lot of people following me on YouTube. So hopefully some join in tonight. I should be able to, I don't know. I have no idea. I'll save this to because we're going to talk about our barrel pick. It was fantastic. So we're going to save ourselves in Elijah Craig's, and just hold on. It will be starting in a couple seconds. I'm in the process of saving to all the bourbon groups. I'm hoping that I don't actually get kicked out because Facebook is so inconsistent as far as how they go about stuff. It's been very enlightening experience. I would say I get frustrated at times, but that's just based off trying to learn how to do this and actually share to the maximum amount of people. I should be kind of looking at you guys instead of looking down. Oh. It's great to have you, on listening, whatever. We're going to get going on the podcast in a few minutes, but we're welcome people from YouTube and on Facebook. I'll just go whiskey sipping bourbon lovers group, Bard's Stools and Bourbon. Jeremy James, got to see him at Buffalo Trace this past trip, but it has been a whirlwind. And I went live last week, but not actually. I didn't actually. What would you say? I wasn't. When I went live, I was not podcasting. So this is our first live podcast after all the festivals. We did an in between podcast and I've got so much coming up in season 5 to review. We have a lot that we've been asked to taste sent to us, and then also there's a lot that have been given to us. And then I'm going to give a shout out to everybody, starting with Kentucky Bourbon Festival last month, and then I'm going to finish up all the way down with everybody who helped. Just make this a great podcast, and everybody. Oh, we got some comments already. I hope the comments are can't hear you. Can you hear me? Hey, Andrew, can anybody hear me right now? That's the question. I should turn this up and see if I can hear myself. No, the sound, it's showing that my sound is working, but obviously there is no sound. Is that because, let's see, there should be some sound. Let's see, is that working or is that turned? Yeah, that's turned on. Let's see. I got everybody watching and I don't got sound. Let's just get the speaker. I'm on mute. Nope, I'm going to unmute. I'm going to make sure Yeti stereo microphone. It looks like, let's go to studio display microphone. How about that? Are we picking up? This microphone is working for you.
How about that?
There we go. All right. So now we got the sound working. Thanks, everybody. Now, Jason, can you hear me? Andy, can you hear me? I think I got it working, right? And then thanks for joining us tonight. We are live on YouTube, and we're also live on Facebook. So, we're going to get this podcast started in a sec. I'm going to be able to watch and monitor what's going on. Let me do it from that point so I can watch and monitor that way. Can you hear me now is the question. Yep, you can hear me. Hey, Tyler. So hopefully everybody, I should drop. Since usually we start at 8:30, I'm going to try and drop some of this podcast. Let's drop it to some specific people. Let's go right here, share to Messenger. There we go. Because I've got people in Messenger. We're also, because we're going to be talking to right, there we go. We're going to be talking to about the barrel pick that we did with Burning Lubbers at Heaven Hill. It was a great pick, had a lot of fun, and look forward to, and Stephen Fonte was with us at Bourbon on the Banks. I mean, it's just been a fantastic ride. Let's see. Hopefully I'm just going to be sharing it with some people live. Just really quick, going through. They give you some suggestions, and I want to share it to a couple other people. Let's see, search people. That's what I wanted. No, right? Yeah, thanks. It's like, why? Are you kidding me? All right, we're almost there. We're almost there. Hang in there. There we go. And one more person I want to send it to. Let's see. Yep. And let's send to my favorite, Greg Schneider. All right. I did what I needed to do. We're live. Got this going. We're going to get the podcast going. But tonight, one of the things that we're going to be talking about 100% is we are going to be talking about the last month, I would say, that we went, the Scotchy Bourbon Boys went on the road, and how awesome it was to go on the road. And I'm just going to go over some of the fine things, or the nicer, funner things that we did on the podcast tonight. So what I'm going to do is get this podcast started. I have to go around here, get ready to play the theme song. Got that ready to go. All right. Really quick. I got that, but I got to drop in. I know what to do. I've done this a million times, so why? So it's just like, come on. There it is. Okay. Let's go here. Oh, really? All right. There we go. Let's go to this part. Thanks for hanging in, everybody, with me. Here we go. And we're about to start. I know that I have all that. Really? Come on. What? Oh my. All right. Here we go. Let's do are they like not in the clip? I must have dumped them. All right. We're just going to go with this. I know what to do. Really? You're going to try
Spirits of French Lick is
no,
proud to
not what I wanted to
Glad
do. There we go. All right. Dump that in. There we go. All right. So I'm about to start recording. When you hear the theme song over, we will be starting our studio version of officially of season 5.
Drinking bourbon, sipping on some scotch. We've been a little while in a short fun to watch. We love what we do with drinking every brew, and it's all some shit, but we're telling the truth. Yeah, we're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, raising some hell and making some noise. Yeah, we're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. We're here to have fun and we hope you enjoy. We're here to have fun.
All right. That was our theme song for the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, Kenny Fuller of the Old Americana band from Luca Mariano. Thank you so much, Kenny, for singing that song. Greatly appreciated. Welcome to another podcast of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. I'm Tiny here tonight, getting ready to go over, have a little bit of some sipping and recap the last month and a half, maybe no, to pretty much the last month for the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, a little bit over a month, where it just kind of was an extravaganza that we had with so many different festivals and events that we planned around. And I came back, and last week we played some of the podcasts, and throughout the months, you were hearing what we did and who we podcasted at the festival. This is the first podcast without a lot of people talking in the background. We're live on Facebook and YouTube tonight, so I am monitoring. I'm going to try and monitor both, but I am monitoring Facebook. Hello, everybody out there, and I got to turn down the. That's my favorite thing to not do and make sure. But welcome everybody. Once again, I'm Tiny. We're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. www.scotchybourbonboys.com. You know that. Also, we are on all the major podcast formats. We're on Spotify, iHeart, Apple, whatever you have, listen to us. And then on all of the major, social media, X. We're starting to push X a little bit more. And then also Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We've been pushing YouTube hard. Most of the podcasts that you hear from on the audio, if it's a greatest hit, it makes it into our YouTube. But then we also do other little videos similar to Whiskey and Tiny's rapid tastings. Those are 10-15 minute videos where we go through specifically specific bourbon or whiskey and rate it for you. So check that out on YouTube. And then also you can, the other aspect is there's a lot of different things. Like I just uploaded the Scotchy Bourbon Boys 2023 bus tour that was documented by the awesome documentarian Bo Cumberland, who has done a lot of for whiskey. He shot the Alan Bishop Experience. He's done a lot of reenactments and videos for distilleries. And then he has his own series where he goes around to different distilleries and shows you what's there. So make sure you check us out on YouTube, and because there's a lot of content. Last year's Bourbon on the Banks, our last year's bus tour, this year's bus tour. There's going to be there's a lot of interviews that we did coming up right soon. It was a podcast, but also you'll get to see the video of what I did when I sat down with Fred at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. So there's all that type stuff, and super excited to get into that. So make sure you check this out. Then we also have on this website all of our we've got right now, everybody. We have Scotchy Bourbon Balls. Our bourbon balls are for sale at the moment, so go check that out at the website or contact me directly on Messenger and we've got them for sale. I believe it is $30 for 9, and that includes shipping. We profess and been told that we make some of the best bourbon balls in that there are around. So you might want to check that out. And then also one of the other things that we have is we've got our t-shirts, and then we've got our refrigerator magnets and the Glencairns. There's also a special that we have, the special Glencairn holder that goes around your neck. You can see that one back there. That's a 3-cord, but we actually have the special Glencairn for hanging around for all the festivals. It was a big thing at Bourbon on the Banks. So, all right, let's get into everybody. One, if you're watching and you're looking, Andrew, it's great to see you. Jason, what are you guys drinking tonight? Let me know. I would love to know what if you're on Facebook and you're in other groups, if you go to Jeffrey Mueller, that's where I'm monitoring all the, all it all shows up. But as far as comments live, the comments a lot of times don't run through to my Jeffrey Mueller feed. But if you're at Jeffrey Mueller, you can find me on Facebook. You can comment and sip along. So tonight, one of so when we were down in, we left September 9th, Saturday, September 9th. The festival is the 14th through the 17th. And we went down and we started off at Revival with, and Mr. Schneider is watching. Thank you, Greg, for watching. He basically had come up to Ohio earlier, and I've just completed his. I made Greg Schneider greatest hits. He's been up here, and I've got video of him talking about chicken cock whiskey, so many different places, and I put them all together. So that's going to be coming soon. But we got to on our Scotchy Bourbon Boys bus tour this year. Greg was at Bardstown Bourbon Company and gave us our tour, but he also finished off something that was amazing. And I do believe I have it just sitting. No, that's not the one. But I do have some left of, let's see, where is it? It should be, it's all, I might have put that one away because it's special. But what he allowed us to do over the last four years, we've gone down, this is our fourth time with Greg, is the new make that he made the year that we were down there, the first year when we podcasted with Steve Nally and Nick Smith in, I believe it's called Rick's Place or Pete's Place, Rick's Place, one or the other, there at the Bardstown Bourbon Company. And where we got to taste that new make, it had finally come to evolve into actually what's going to go, I believe, in the bottle probably next March around that time. So we've been tasting that one step at a time at 1 year, 18 months, every time we go down, he's let us taste it. And that is a very unique experience to be able to taste a whiskey all the way through. Along with letting us taste other things, like we were able to taste the Chicken Cock's new red stave. I ordered their newest single barrel, which I don't have it off the top of my head because it's still coming, and I know Greg knows what it is. It's associated with a specific golfer, so I can't wait to get that. I've been waiting for that to ship. Put that order in a couple weeks ago, and then so having Greg do that tour and then be a part of it. Now, if you go to the YouTube right now, you can find that bus tour, and in that bus tour, Greg's Greg's a big part of that, and you could see what happened on the bus tour with Greg Schneider. Greg's a great fan of us, and also we think he's family. And we're trying to figure out, because we usually get down to the Indiana part, and because we were so busy, we ended up not getting to the Indiana area, but we want to get down to Al's place and have dinner with Greg coming up real soon. So that's going to be pretty fantastic. But when we started off and kicked off Kentucky, the Kentucky Bourbon Festival road trip for the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, we all met. CT, myself, and Super Nash at Revival Spirits in Covington, Kentucky. Brad Bonds is the owner there, and we kicked off. So you could check out that podcast. That podcast was off the wall. What we got to taste there, and what I can really quick throw these off, and I have it here. I walked out with my wife, purchased a Swan or a Tundra Goose, and it was a Jim Beam from it was a decanter of a white goose, Tundra Goose, and the decanter still has Jim Beam in it. We actually picked that up. That's upstairs on one of the few bourbon things that decorate our living room. And then we had this. He basically turned me on to this. This is Hill Kentucky Straight Bourbon. I believe he said it was from I want to say he said in the 50s. So the 1950s. This is a Dusty that he was able to let me walk out with. Let me, I do. I know this is crazy. There it is. I need to get the old man glasses because it's just the way it is. So let me read on that one. That it's like so. I love the older bottles. So the text stamp is totally intact. Um, and then it's got what he loves is it's been sitting on a shelf and it's definitely a dusty. He doesn't clean the bottles because the inside's what's got to be in there, and it picks up this like hardened dust. It's a true dusty. It says here's what Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. This whiskey is 4 years old. Since 1878, Hill and Hill has offered a straight bourbon in the authentic Kentucky tradition. Our whiskey is exceptionally light, smooth, and rich in flavor. We still adhere to the painstaking formula of the original distillery and send only the select distillation to mark. Rightfully, Hill and Hill is called the bourbon with the flavor of America. So I walked out of there with a bourbon that was the flavor of America. It's bottled under United States government supervision. It's 80 proof by the Hill and Hill Distillery Company, Louisville, Kentucky. So that was kind of fantastic, the way to start off the trip. But what we tasted there we tasted a 1970s Stitzel Weller. He was pulling out a 1980, I believe, in a 1980s Wild Turkey. He also had us tasting. We tasted a 1906 Scotch, a 1940s, I believe, also Stitzelweller. I mean, it was just unbelievable what we were tasting. And if you really want to you're into Dusties, check out that podcast. It's on audio and on YouTube. It's uploaded on YouTube. So it was pretty fantastic. And then we left there. We ended up staying there way longer than we thought we would. CT left and Nash was there, and Nash came. CT, myself, and I believe Roxy. We all did the podcast from down there and just had an absolute blast. But then we went down and we went to the OCB Bourbon Kitchen, Old Country, yeah, the OCB Bourbon Kitchen, and that is in Lexington. And we had dinner there, had a fantastic dinner there, and then we went on and checked into our Airbnb. Yeah, Greg says Stitzelweller is basically Rip Van Winkle. Yes, and it tasted. I had so many Stitzelwellers. I think I had 4 different expressions on this trip, Greg. It was unbelievable some of the stuff that I was getting, and had just the honor of drinking between all the different places. Actually, I was able to, at the festival, smoke a cigar from 1972. I mean, I did not know that there was that many. That's an insane amount of time for a cigar to last. And we were smoking it right there in the cigar area where the cigar lounge was for the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. It was fantastic. We'll get into that a little bit. And then went on Sunday. We went with Sandy No and to the Bernheim Forest. We wanted to do something not so whiskey related. And then afterwards, the whiskey made it down. That's when him and Sheila drove down on Sunday afternoon and met us at the James B. Beam Distillery, and we had lunch at the kitchen table at like 2:30, and whiskey and Sheila showed up. So it was Super Nash and Sherry and his new wife, not newest, his new wife, and then myself and Roxy, CT, and then there was Sheila and Whiskey, and then afterwards, after we had not dinner, lunch at the kitchen table, we all headed off to Sandy's house, which is basically the house that Jim Beam built and lived in, and where the famous, where Booker lived, where the famous kitchen table actually is. We sat around the kitchen table, and Super Nash gave Fred some mini bottles. Now, on the one that I'm about to load, you get to see a couple minutes or a minute or two of Fred analyzing those mini bottles. So that's really kind of cool. So look forward to that. And then we just hung out. I mean, it was just unbelievable. All of us hanging out with Fred and Sandy at their house, enjoying the day. And then once we were finished there, I believe we had reservations. We ended up at I don't, we all had dinner and went back to the Airbnb because Monday morning was our barrel pick at Elijah Craig, and that was something special. I just want to put it out there for everybody. The barrel pick will be in sometime in late December, early January. It is an Elijah Craig single barrel. It is 120.7 proof. It is 9 years old. Right now, it's selling very, very well. And we basically, the tasting notes on it was very honey strong. It lacked that single barrel hot pepper that I always get with an Elijah Craig on their barrel proofs. So this one, it had a little bit, but it did not have the normal pepper, but it also finished with like a Kellogg's Corn Pop finish, which was fantastic. So this one was a good one again. We've done some barrel picks and had really good results. I look forward to this barrel pick. Can't wait. Contact me if you are interested in any of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys barrel picks. I can put you in our barrel pick Facebook Messenger so that you know what's happening with that. So anyways, and then once we're done with that barrel pick, I mean, who does a barrel pick? I believe the barrel pick started at 10 a.m. We had to be at the distillery at 10 a.m. Bernie Lubbers picked with us. And then we had just an absolute blast. We, gift shop, and then we went in, we did the pick. There was, it was really well executed. We communicated it. It was the 7 people picking, it was 5-2. And we finished up there. And I believe, I don't remember where we went to lunch, but we went and grabbed lunch, and I know where we went. We went and grabbed lunch, I believe headed off at the famous gas station that makes biscuits. And I believe my wife had a bologna sandwich. I had, anyways, it was delicious. This gas station hand makes and has the biscuits, and the meat that they use is fantastic. And then we headed off and drove the 2-hour drive to Green River, but Green River is in a different time zone, minus 1 hour. So it's only really, we left at 1, drove 2 hours, and got there at 2. And that's where we met up with Aaron Harris. And Aaron Harris at Green River is some damn good people. We did a podcast. You can hear that one. I will be putting that one up coming up too. I've got the recording of that podcast. I just have so much to do. But we went around, we thieved from barrels. We interviewed them there, and then we did a podcast that was fantastic. We finished up, went and had dinner, and then drove back. This time we left at about, I think we left at about 8 o'clock, and we drove 2 hours and got back at 11 o'clock. So, so all in one day, we gained and lost the actual we gained and lost the actual hour, but it was a blast. What a great day. And then that led to Tuesday. Now Tuesday was an awesome day. We were supposed to go up to Boone County Distillery. We had it kind of set up, but we were helping set up the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. Shout out for Stacy Pritchard, who did a fantastic job with the festival. Randy, of course, we were there and we helped set up. We helped back in. We helped set up tables for the tents, chairs for the tents. We were helping, unload anybody who came up, any of the distilleries. We helped them unload their stuff onto carts and get it off of. There was semis, there were box trucks, there were vans, there was all, carts, there was golf carts, the whole thing. And it was just a fantastic, great time. And we helped set up. We met the staff. The staff was out of Detroit and Michigan, and they were phenomenal. I have to say, throughout the whole festival, they were great. And I had a good time, made some good friends, had some good pours. And so it was obvious. We went and ate at Mammy's. We ate lunch and we went back. Instead of going to Boone, we canceled the Boone County, and we'll do that another time, I promise. But we headed back and helped finish setting up for that day. And then once again, I believe, figured out, had a great dinner. And that was a Tuesday wrap. But we went to bed early on Tuesday, not too late. I think I turned it in around midnight because the next day was the Scotchy Bourbon Boys bus tour. Now, if you haven't ever been on a Scotchy Bourbon Boys bus tour, the Scotchy Bourbon Boys bus tour is a very, very unique event because of our connections in the industry, especially with Greg Schneider or Randy or, different distilleries. When we pick the distilleries, we pick them based off of getting an insider kind of experience. Log Still Distillery, up until they've been our sponsor. Thank you so much for your sponsorship. That has ended. We're looking for a new sponsor, but we've got a couple people right now in the works, and hopefully they'll come on board real soon. I'm excited about this because if we can get these sponsors in, we will have a little bit more free-flowing funds to keep doing what we're doing. Anybody who wants to help us out, feel free there too. You can donate stars on this live, or you can we take any kind of donations, and we just put it right back into the whiskey, and we put it back into the equipment. The equipment's starting to get better and better and more matched up. I've got all Yeti microphones, and I enjoy it thoroughly. The bus tour was freaking amazing. Patience and Erica came along, and then we had a lot of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, but then got to give a shout out to the Matts from Cleveland on the Rocks. Matt Lizen's fantastic. Had a good time with Matt. That bus tour was phenomenal. Started out at Maker's Mark in the morning. It's such a beautiful distillery. Denny Potter has left, so I don't really have too much of an in with the Samuels at the moment. So we took the tour. We did the tour, got to do the tasting and the dipping. Fantastic. They had an ice cream 375 milliliter one. I think it's called Ice Cream Social or something like that. I was able to pick up, and then we dipped. We're able to dip a bottle of one of the, I believe it was the Campfire. But anyways, a fantastic time at there. But then also Bo Cumberland, and you got he's a documentarian. And from this, he has upgraded our video of our opening for the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, and that's been updated this year to he combined the last 2 years bus tours to make that opening, which is fantastic. I really love the improvements. And then also he did the bus tour video that you can see right now on YouTube. It just uploaded. The bus tour video is fantastic. Captures what went on and how it went on, and we just had an absolute blast with that. And we've gone and we haven't even started. We did the bus tour. Then we the next place was Log Still. We went to Log Still, did some interviews off their back deck porch. What was going on at Log Still that day in the event center? The event center was the people were being inducted into the Bourbon Hall of Fame. So that was really kind of cool that that was going on while we were there. But we got the tour, we got to see all this, the still, taste from the still. And then when we were finished, we had lunch, we did the interview, hung out a little bit, and then we headed off to. You'll see it on the video, but we headed off to one of the original families in the area that was able to get the land and has been farming that land forever. So check out the video on that one. Fantastic footage on that one. He gave us we just stopped by and he gave us Erica and Patience knew him, and he gave us this unbelievable kind of quick tour. It was just like a flash tour. We pulled up and it was a flash tour. It was cool. Bo captured it. Check that out on the bus tour video. So then we were off to the Bardstown Bourbon Company after that, and that's where we met Greg Schneider. He gave us like the full out royal treatment tour, and I walked out with the next chicken cock expression, red stave, and then also we got to taste what's going to go with his hand-picked barrel staves to make the barrels and then age the barrels. It's coming in March. So excited. But I will say this. If you see Chicken Cock on the shelf, their bourbon right now, I'd say get it because it's the stuff. It's no longer anything to do with sourced or anything. It is Greg Schneider's contract distilled to his specifications with Nick. It's a triple master distiller experience because it's Greg, Nick, and Steve Nally, all of them putting and then running that mash bill and making it what it is. I mean, fantastic, awesome. I don't know what to tell you. I would pick up a bottle. I have picked up a bottle. I got to taste it when he was here, and then also picked. And it's fantastic. It's a good bourbon. So we finished up there. Then we grabbed a couple pizzas at the pizza place in town. It's Primo's Pizza. We usually do that and headed back to the Airbnb. We then, the owners of the Airbnb, our Airbnb wanted to come over afterwards, and they came over and hung out with us while we just relaxed and chilled out by a bonfire and just had an awesome time drinking some spectacular whiskey. Now that's Wednesday. Thursday was another day. Now this day started off with Ross Cornelissen, the master distiller of Barton, 1792, meeting us at 8:30 in the parking lot, and us getting a tour and doing a podcast with Ross. Ross, I had met on a trip down there just a little bit earlier, and he he's everything that you'd want him to be. At the Bourbon Festival, we saw him. He gave us the tour. He's listened to these live broadcasts before. We did the podcast, and also the video podcast is up, and it's we got the tour. There's video from the tour on that, and then also the whole podcast. And I got to drink the sweet wheat for the first time, and it's pretty much. And then at the festival, I got to drink the sweet wheat, and I think pretty much it's one. I'm going to have to somehow secure a bottle. I don't know what to say. It was fantastic. That 1792, and then we got to taste the full proof of what's come. The batch that's coming out soon. And it was spectacular. And what Ross was doing there, I really think is, he's being also mentored by, I believe it's Jim. I'm not going to go with that. not off the cuff. I can't do that. I always put the words in my mouth. If I don't know, and I don't, if somebody wants to tell me, that's fine. But if overall Ross is running the operations, and he's his background, you can find out about that. But he's just a great guy, like I find at so many different places. And we got the tour of Barton's and got the podcast in his office, which is, I mean, Barton's is a working man's distillery. And there was no doubt that's what was presented. I mean, the elevator ride was fantastic in that grain elevator. It was the coolest thing. So we finished up there, and we then had lunch at the Bardstown Bourbon Company and went and got ready for the kickoff of the Kentucky Bourbon Festival, which is the Bourbon in the Air. Bourbon in the Air event is one of this event is something that if you're going to the Kentucky Bourbon Festival, you have to get the tickets for Bourbon in the Air or do a VIP that has them included. But the Bourbon in the Air is the event. It's got high end pours. That's where I had more sweet wheat. Green River had a single barrel there. Broken Barrel had their barrel out. I mean, you were just tasting some very fantastic bourbons running around, and it was just an absolute blast. And 3 hours this time. Last time it wasn't as, I think it was 6 to 8, and this time it was 5:30 to 8:30. So you got that 3 hours in there. And we finished up and we went home, and I changed into a tux, and you can see some of the pictures. I probably on let's see, on Facebook I can do this. I can't do it too much and you wouldn't see it. I'm not going to share the screen here because you won't see it, or you're just listening. And when you listen, but you can see some pictures on posted on my my Facebook. My Facebook has lots of posts with those pictures. Now, I also have to tell you what happened I got to back this up one. It was Wednesday night. Well, no, it wasn't. I'm wrong. It was, so I'll keep, so that was right. And then we went to 1920s party where you dressed like 1920s and went around at my Kentucky home park in right in Bardstown there, and you got to go through the home. They had stuff set up, some cars. I mean, it was just music, old-fashioned music. You had drink tickets. Overall, it was we got there a little late, so we missed out on probably some of the hors d'oeuvres and that type of thing. But when we finished up, it was a spectacular evening. Got to dress up. Like I said, Super Nash looked like he was a gangster. And then my wife and his wife both looked spectacular. And then I felt I worked hard to fit in a tux that I needed. That it was not easy to get in that tux, but I was able to get in it, lose the weight and get in it. And I was very happy. So that was Thursday. And then Friday was the first day of the festival. And we didn't know what to expect, honestly. There was a media tent, and we had help set up, and we didn't know if you could interview people, or people were going to be in there, or what you could do, or who you could talk to. So we got a good dose of the festival that day. And one of the things about the Kentucky Bourbon Festival, not only was the VIP this year spectacular with no problems that it had, there was no problems. The air conditioning worked fantastic. The food was amazing. And then in the media tent also, the food was really good. And the drinks were spectacular. But I mean, it's so funny. You're getting high-end pours everywhere, but then you have to go out into the festival, and there's 52 distilleries that are sampling all of their whiskey too. So you really got to figure it out. Now, I was in the Decanter Club, so I was able to get all my stuff from the Decanter Club. I've got, I don't think it's not in the video right now, I will one time walk through, but I got the decanter, the glasses, plus I got the Glencairn glass, and those were all made by Glencairn. So that was just a spectacular thing. You got your lanyard, and you got, I mean, it just was overall. And you got the Bardstown Bourbon Company single barrel pick, which was I got to taste that also, and it was pretty good. So the first day of the festival, kind of got your bearings about you, but we did, I believe, was it? Yeah, nope. It was that Friday night after the festival was over. I gotta remember. It's like it just was such a blur. I believe after the festival was over, I'm trying to think where we went. We had our tent set up for podcasting, and we set up a podcast for Saturday morning. We got there early, and Barry Briniger, who is RD1 Spirits, was there, and we podcasted with him. So that will be coming out on YouTube soon, but that is also on audio. And we kind of, in the place, you couldn't really do much as far as there's people talking and whatnot. We were able to do interviews eventually, and we interviewed throughout the festival Fred No, that interview, Ashley Barnes, the master blender for Curly Whiskey Company, and then also I was able to interview Tom Jones from Kentucky Owl, their ambassador, worldwide ambassador. He comes from Scotland and sells Kentucky Owl over there. We got to taste the Maester, which was a really cool collaboration bourbon. And then we did that, and then I was also able to. There was one. What was? Oh, the last one was we finished up the festival with Dan McKee and Amanda Wilson, and Andrea Wilson. Sorry, Amanda Wilson, whatever. Andrea Wilson, and from Michter's, and that was pretty fantastic. I mean, Super Nash. He had obtained a small decanter. It looks like it was a ceramic decanter. That is just weird. Just what happened? Oh, come on. There we go. A ceramic decanter. And we were able, it was from, I believe, the original Michter's Distillery in Pennsylvania from the 60s. And we were able to open it up and drink it with them. And Dan really enjoyed that. And so did Andrea. Thank you. Not Andrea. Andrea. And we just had a really, really good time interviewing, doing the interview. Now that is, I re-recorded both the Jim Beam, Fred No interview, and I've also done it with the Michters, and you can go back and listen to those, but they will be loading on YouTube very soon. They're in line, they're edited and ready to go. So Kentucky Bourbon Festival was actually very, very spectacular. But one of the things you could do there, and this is one thing that I just wanted to make sure, you could buy bottles finally. And you could secure like this Baker's 13. There was a single barrel select, which was a wheat whiskey. It was Founders Reserve wheat, 5 years, 1 month. But this is single barrel, broken barrel. That's Seth Benheim's. I'm going to drink a little bit of that right now. One of the things that happened is we also on Saturday night after the festival, I'm just trying to think. Friday night. Okay, that's what it was. Friday night, we ended up, and then even on the one night, I believe on Thursday night, we ended up at the Bringdamo penthouse up with Stacy Pritchard, and she basically had us taste some stuff and hang out there. The Scotchy Bourbon Boys were there. I mean, we had so much fun and drank so much good whiskey every single. There was then the one night we went. After the first night of on Friday night, I'm just being like dumb. We went with Francesco Viola, and he basically cooked dinner on his grill in the parking lot of the Kentucky Bourbon Festival after the festival. And we were hanging out with Francesco. We were hanging out with uh I want to say Dan Phillips. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Dan Phillips from the master distiller there. And if I got that wrong, I'm just an idiot. But I'm pretty sure that's who it is. And then also Antonio Freeman. I got that right. Everybody, if you watch or listen to this podcast, you know I really suck at names. It really takes a bunch of times for me to hang out with people. I can do Francesco Viola because Francesco and me have been hanging out for a while, back and forth. But that night was special. We ended up going to the Volstead afterwards and meeting Jennifer there. And also Seth Benheim was there on that Friday night. And we set up with Seth to come break a barrel because Aaron Harris from Green River, when we were talking to him when we were there, he basically said he was coming up to the festival and he could bring barrels. Then the barrels that he brought up, we basically broke with Seth. And Broken Barrel is being distilled and purchased from Green River. So they do that. So it's part of the whole thing. So we had those barrels, and they're going to be a part of this bar. The bar I have, when I do it, I'm going to back my camera off for my studio, and I'm going to build a stave front on my bar made of the barrels that Aaron Harris dropped off, and we broke with Seth Benheim from Broken Barrel. But that was a fantastic. Once again, check those videos out. Seth's has loaded, the Broken Barrel has loaded onto YouTube, and you could see us breaking the barrel. And I believe on TikTok it's Bourbon Bikini. She basically rates bourbons by what kind of dress she does when she starts out, and if it's a really good bourbon, she gets in a bikini. So she was there helping us break the barrel also, and then also with Seth there, you just got to see the video. It's on YouTube, and then there's a bunch of shorts also on my Jeffrey Mueller, so breaking the barrel. But this Broken Barrel this week, I have not tried it yet, but it's XO sherry cask finished, I believe, wheat whiskey. Let me see. I got it. So I'll tell you exactly what it is. I'm going to get my... set that there. Okay, let's read this one. Got it. Founders Reserve Wheat, 5-year, 1 month. Straight wheat whiskey finished with Broken Barrel staves. Aged 5 years single. Okay, hold on. Oak bill. Okay, so the mash bill was 85 wheat, 15 malted barley. And the oak bill was 80% PX sherry and 20% French oak. So they dropped PX sherry cask into that mash bill, and they also did French oak and mixed the two. And I'm about to taste that one for the first time. That one sold out in seconds, they said. Damn. Holy crap. Wow, Seth. That's a nice... did I tell you the proof? All their stuff is high. It is 125.6. It's drinking like 125 points. But that is delicious. Wow. Thanks, man. Thanks for letting me get that bottle. Uh, that is some really good whiskey. So there you go. Last year, we drank their Kentucky Straight Broken Barrel Heresy Rye, which was 105 proof. And that we drank on the podcast. So I wish I would have brought it for him to sign. But him coming to our Airbnb and breaking a barrel and doing video with us was, and then also doing a podcast was phenomenal. Thank you, Seth. I think what they're doing is really cool. So also Friday night before we went out, it finished up with a Jim Beam where Freddie and Fred were talking, and we sat with Sandy and just enjoyed some hors d'oeuvres and tasting and what Jim Beam and what the nose put out. I walked away at the festival with Little Book Chapter 5. I believe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that must be, I'm missing 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's Chapter 7. And I got that, and Freddie and Fred signed it. I was able to secure a Baker's. Thank you, Stacy Pritchard. She had a Baker's 13 for me that was signed by Baker, Fred, and Freddie. That's back there, right back there, and it's staying there. Wow, that is a really good whiskey. It's delicious. I mean, God, the color's fantastic. I'm gonna give it. You taste that wheat and you taste that grain. It doesn't taste that it's not young, and then that sherry, that XO sherry, just is in there just perfectly. It's rich, and it's got just the perfect sweetness, but you're picking up the French oak. The French oak aspect of it makes that spectacular. I'm going to covet that bottle. So, anyways, very, very, very good bottle. So then, also they had Hardin's Creek, which I picked up. The only thing, Ross Cornelison is watching. Hey, Ross, I did talk about you earlier because we talked about what a great time we had at the festival and also podcasting. But I want to say that at the Jim Beam at the festival, just as far as what they distributed, was amazing. I didn't get the 18 this year. I got to taste it last night, and it's delicious. But I have an 18 from last year. It's up there, and yeah, I'm not. I try not to amass 100, and I believe the price on it this year was $159.99, and so there was a lot of bottles I was buying. I got the Rare Perfection 15, which is a phenomenal bourbon. I tasted it up against Preservation. Really had some really good tasting whiskey, but the 15-year Rare Perfection was, I mean, I'm telling you that it's one of the best. It's right in my wheelhouse, and it's just right there. They're doing a spectacular job as far as what they put out and what it tastes like. Because, I mean, it costs me a lot, but when you taste something, that is one that hits, and it's just your palate, and it hits your brain, and it just works. You gotta sometimes spend the cash. But then Heaven Hill did the same thing. They had private selects and rare. I don't even know where to begin with. I think it's I want to say Chillicothe, but it's something else. Chilean oak, finished, 13 years old. I mean, I tasted it. It was fantastic. That was available. They had they released Elijah Craig 18, which I picked up, and then they also had the single barrel specifically for the festival, but then they also had a barrel, which was barrel strength, but they also had one that was released from the distillery that was distillery release only, which was 133 proof, which was fantastic. So I walked away with so much bourbon. So then, we get back and you got all this bourbon, and then I had a week off. I spent it with the kids, and then all of a sudden, I thought I was back, and I noticed that the Ohio Craft Distillery um, Festival in about Delaware, Wisconsin, which is about an hour and 40 minutes away from me, and Delaware, Wisconsin, Delaware, Ohio, an hour and 40 minutes away from me, and I asked them, the people, the farm that behind, I'm not even going to say that either, because I should have notes on all this, but they were throwing the festival through the Ohio Distillers Guild, and all the distilleries were there, and I asked them for some tickets if they wanted me to cover it, and nothing till Thursday before, which would have been, I had asked them the Tuesday I got back, and then that weekend went, and then that Thursday, all of a sudden in my email come 2 tickets. Nobody could go. My wife couldn't go. CT couldn't go. Nash obviously wasn't going, and neither did Whiskey. He couldn't go either. He was going to be doing something. So I got on the phone and asked Bourbon Annie, Ann Dimmick of OHLQ, to come with me, and she was free. Her husband was hunting that weekend, and she wanted to go, and we went. Met her down there, and we had such a blast. Ohio Craft Distilleries and Bourbon. I got a lot of cards. I'm going to have to, this is the time right after the holidays where I like to concentrate on small craft distilleries. That's the time of the year between January and February. I like to have people on. We've had some really, really good craft distilleries on in the past, so I will be getting those people on this year. What's happening, just like in the whole bourbon industry, is happening, here in Ohio, and Ohio is producing some good stuff, along with Middle West spirits, which I have to get with Ryan Lane, because we are talking, what they're doing there is insane. And I'm excited for it. I've got to get down there. I hope to get down there before Christmas. So I'm going to be giving them a call real soon. And went to that. And that was an afternoon, which was fine. I mean, it started at, I believe, we got there at 11. It started at 12. We walked around a little bit, got to see the OHLQ flash store, which was really cool, where they were selling all the bottles. And then everybody who was there, you could go up there and purchase it. So OHLQ is killing it as far as, even at a festival, anybody who had anything, you could buy it from there. And then there was the Bell of Dayton, which that distillery is producing some fantastic whiskey. CT lives in Springfield, which is right outside of Dayton, and I'm sending him there because I need him to buy me bottles, because what they did there, that was a special distillery. Can't wait. And then also Dayton Barrel Works with Bill Hockett. Whatever's happening in that area, I'm not sure exactly what the future holds, but at the same time, I look forward to what Bill's going to be doing. With that said, then the next weekend is Bourbon on the Banks. So the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, what, of course, 2 festivals in 3 weeks isn't enough. We have to do 3 festivals in 4 weeks, and we head down to Frankfurt. Right on the Kentucky River, right next to Buffalo Trace, is Bourbon on the Banks. Fantastic festival. That's all I can say. Amzie, Diane, Renee, you guys are doing a spectacular job. This year's festival, we participated in. Participating in a festival is it's a double-edged sword because I know so many people now, especially one-day festival. It's just like you just don't get to, see the people or do the stuff you want to do. And what we did at this festival with we this is our first time in the past when we did the Kentucky Bourbon Festival and had a booth. The booth was set up. The table was set up. All we had to do is bring the decorations, which was no problem, and some fans, and we were set to go set up the stuff. Now here we had to bring the tents, we had to bring the tables, we had to bring the chairs, which there's no complaining. It was, but we set up on Friday, got there, drove down. We I gotta remember on our way down. Oh, on our way down, we met with Macaulay Minton of in Lexington, of formerly of Wilderness Trail. He was a blender there and was responsible for their good bourbon, and then also head of their single barrel program. He now has his own place called Dark Arts Whiskey House, and we went there and we tasted some damn good whiskey. The man knows what he's doing. So that's where we started on Friday morning. We had to, of course, I'm crazy. I had my wife get up at, I believe she had to get up at 3, and we had to be out by 4 because it's a 5-hour drive, and we had to be there at 9 a.m. And we were. We met Nash, we met CT, and we met Andy, who is our head of security, Mr. Camden. Super awesome guy. He will be on the podcast more and more as we go along. Andy, thank you for everything. But he joined us down there. And Andy has the connections when it comes to, he's a wounded police officer. And he also knows about charity and doing things and giving. Just a great person, and I look forward to him being a part of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. But we went to Dark Arts, and then after Dark Arts, picked up a barrel that Mother Stewart's is going to put some beer in, and that's going to be pretty cool. And then we headed over to the festival. Actually, after there, I believe we went to Woodford Reserve, and we also ate at the Stave restaurant, and then we went to after the Stave restaurant, we went to Woodford, and then after Woodford, we headed to Kentucky Bourbon Festival, and CT and Andy headed to Glenn's Creek, where he picked up a barrel where Glenn wasn't supposed to be, but he was there, or Dave wasn't supposed to be there, but he was there, and I would have went if I knew Dave was going to be there, but they just hid that from us, and then they were late getting, and then we went there, dropped off all the stuff, set up the tent, and we then went out. We met Amzie at the Frankfurt Bourbon Society headquarters and had some tastes that night, and then went back to our Airbnb in Lawrenceburg. And then the next morning of it, we went, me, CT, and Super Nash went to Turkey, while Whiskey went to Lawrenceburg and Lawrenceburg Bourbon Company, and checked that out with Greg Keeley. And we were all over. Now, one thing that I could say is, although I didn't cover everything, the Scotchy Bourbon Boys covered it fully, and I've got lots of stuff to put out there, and it'll be coming up real soon. And then Bourbon on the Banks was phenomenal, spectacular. We ended up podcasting with Stephen Fonte, then Royce Neely, and then finished up with Greg Keeley from Lawrenceburg Bourbon Company. Royce Neely's from the Neely Family Distillery, and Stephen Fonte is the spokesperson for Limestone Branch. All of those, which you can listen to right now, and then eventually you will be able to see them on YouTube. Fantastic podcast. Had a lot of fun. It was a blast, and the only thing I got to say is I missed out on so much of what I wanted to do, because when you're running the podcast from the festivals, you just can't do everything. Now, I was recording and doing things at the Craft Distillery uh, Festival in Delaware, and honestly, I did all that what I wanted to do. I had a lot of fun with Anne. It was a great time, and we just overall super great time at all these festivals. Then you come home and you have all this bourbon, and I have a lot to review. And then the last thing I want to say is one of the Jay Ersman, from co-founder of the New Riff Distillery. He tasted the barrel pick from New Riff. We still have to get that from Stacy Pritchard. There's definitely what we want to do is get that pick and talk about it. But in the mail, Tracy Green, shout out to you. Thank you for including the Scotchy Bourbon Boys in the media kits that you send out. Out of nowhere, when we were doing the barrel pick, we saw, I believe, Jay, and then also I want to say, I know he worked at Heaven Hill, and I met him, and he's a friend of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, but they did a single malt, and it was there in the barrel, and they were showing what they were going to do. Well, I got a sample of that coming up. I have to thank them sending it out to me. They want me to taste it. I got a letter. I'm probably going to taste it, and I can't imagine not loving it. But at the same time, I'm going to do the instructions and give my feedback on it. But it's really fun doing a bourbon podcast. And then what I want to say is I've heard a crap ton about 13th Colony, and they contacted me and sent me their bourbon and rye. I have it sitting there. I'm going to contact them, and they should be coming on. And then there's also one last one that I haven't gotten to, but I will. And this is called Barrel Tramps. And he does finishing of single malt whiskey in peach brandy barrels. And then this one is finished in a used pineapple brandy, and the other one was finished in a used peach brandy. So have those coming on. We have that coming up, and I don't know about you, but I think the outlook for season 5 is going to be fantastic. I just hope that everybody. All I would say is tell your friends about us. Put it out there. Let people know about the Scotchy Bourbon Boys and what we're doing. I mean, I think we have a unique thing. We stay. What would you say? We stay true to ourselves. If I get something I don't like, I'm not going to go out and bash it or do it, but I won't put it on the podcast. It's just that simple. And so we're tasting so much and drinking so much and having so many experiences. I'm glad I could share these past 3 or 4, the past month with you guys. It's been a blast. We love doing what we're doing, and I can't wait. It's gotten bigger than I thought it would at this time. We're in our 5th season, after just right over 4 years now. And, you're in your 5th season, and everybody tells you actually the key to it is just stay with it, because after a while, all the formats know you're here. And once they know you're committed and you keep coming and you're here and you're getting the views and you're getting the people and you're getting, that's kind of what you want to do. So, all right. So the last thing I wanted to taste on here was, again, this was the Lawrenceburg Bourbon Company. They were the last podcast of that was Greg Keeley. And this was, okay, let's get that on. Again, we tasted it. What was cool about the Bourbon Festival is first we had Stephen Fonte on, and he brought a Yellowstone distillery pick, and we smoked cigars and pretty much drank the whole bottle between the 6 of us. And then Royce comes on and he brings his bottle, and I think we drank 3/4 of his, and then uh, the third podcast with Greg. I mean, that's what was left. I mean, we that night we went out to dinner at a fabulous restaurant. It had a salad bar and steaks, and it was a really good meal. We all went back to the Airbnb, and CT's like, "I'm done." This bottle is Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. It's a single barrel from the first cask. It from the number one casks. It's barrel A2, 58 ABV, which would be 116 proof. All of their stuff is barrel strength. It's aged 4 years, and it's 70% corn, 21 rye, and 9% malted barley. I'm going to have that to take us out, but listen to that podcast, because Greg's podcast, and then when I get that up also on video, Greg's podcast was fantastic also. I think I know I shouldn't have smoked 2 cigars. I smoked one with Greg, and I smoked one with Steven, and definitely the next day I was like, what's going on? I'm a one cigar once a month kind of guy. And I'm starting to appreciate really, really good cigars, that's for sure. So anyways, all right, everybody, cheers. Remember, we're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. You can find us on all the major podcasts. Make sure that you like, listen, subscribe, leave good feedback, and make sure that no matter where you listen, you give us that feedback. And from there, remember, everybody, good bourbon equals good times and good friends. Make sure you drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive, but live your life dangerously. Little Steve-O's going to take us out.
Oh, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die.
All right, there we go. We are still live on Facebook and YouTube. I'm going to quick get this saving. Everybody knows the drill. If anybody's still, I'll monitor both if anybody's still there. This is where we do a little bit of a chat. If somebody wants to chat with me on Facebook or YouTube, I got that, but hold on. Publish to for uploading. There we go. Call this. Three festivals in 4 weeks. All right, that's what we'll call it. Save it. All right, it's saving. I'm off here. I can pull off there. All right. Put this up here. All right. I'm going to go monitor both. I don't even know. All right, so we're done there. Back to Facebook. There's a couple people watching. Hey, Walker. Hey, Todd. Dwayne. That was some. Hope y'all liked it. I'm here right now. I'm gonna Not Google. I'm going to check YouTube. I don't even know how to check YouTube live. Let's see. There we go. We are live. Let's see what's going on.
Y'all liked it?
Oh, there you go. New timeout lengths. You can now put people in timeout for different lengths ranging. Okay, got it. Oh, I have no idea. Top messages. All right, live chat. Wow, that's awesome. That you got it signed as well. That's okay. That's cool. There was somebody who actually watched and then said it was awesome that it was signed as well. They were referring to the Baker's 13. I think their name was Baker Drinks. So there you go. So I'm waiting for this to finish up, but yeah, yeah. Yeah, so there we go. All right. That's weird. I have it turned all the way down, but it's still picking up on the video. Anyways, oh, maybe that's I know why it is cuz that's wow. I can actually monitor both at once. YouTube, I didn't know that. That's cool. Cool to know. All right, everybody, good to have you on. We'll be signing out. I got to get all this stuff going. I know, running out of place to put shit. All right. So thanks for watching tonight. I really appreciate it. Yeah. Good to see you, Andrew. Thanks for your support. And let's end this Facebook Live. All right, here we go. All right. Good night, everybody on Facebook. And then I'm going to end the YouTube real quick. Thanks for watching on YouTube. We'll put that up. I don't know how that works, but here we go. There was one person watching with a thumbs up. I got a thumbs up on it. Wow. All right. So there we go. Let's keep it like that. Live. How do you stop it? Let's go. Don't have any clue. Are you sure you want to stop streaming?